Welcome back to MuscleTV. I'm here with Extreme Chef Peter Wright once again.
How you going, Tony?
Always well, thanks Pete. You?
Good, thanks, mate. And what are we going to do today?
We're going to talk about putting on mass, gaining lean muscle. This is particularly aimed at the young blokes that are just starting out, the beginners. They go to the gym, they watch MuscleTV, and they want to find out how do you get big.
So, Tony, if you could give them one tip when they're starting out to get big, what would it be?
Eat big. I know you've got to lift weights, but you've got to eat big, you've got to think big, you've got to train big, you've got to sleep big. It's all about big. But most of all, give yourself a nutritional head start by learning about food. You can watch MuscleTV. When we were kids, there was no MuscleTV. In fact, I reckon you would have been a skinny kid, and I would have been a little tubber. Like if you just imagine us a few years younger, folks, you would have seen that we had very, very different body types. And we're going to talk a little bit about that with this segment because we've laid out the types of food to eat, but when it comes down to quantities and being able to bend the rules a little bit, that really comes down to the body type that you've got. And we have to remind people that it's great to eat big, but if you're a bit on the tubby side, go easy or it'll get worse. If you're a bit on the thin side, then you can have this plus more. You've got to add a few things in. So let's go through a typical day's eating for a beginner. Starting in the morning, you get out of bed, what are you going to serve them, Pete?
Alternative meals. So for breakfast, we've got omelettes with toast or bread, but you can have whole eggs, boiled eggs, poached eggs, whichever way you like. Like I've been a chef for a long time, and there's not a lot of culinary activity going on here. Very, very simple stuff. You know, if you can't cook at all, throw a few eggs into a fry pan. Doesn't matter what it looks like, you're going to get the scrambled eggs. You know
what, even if you mess it up, it's still got the same nutritional content as if you make it look flash like yours. I've got an old saying on MuscleTV, I'm not a chef and you're not a chef, but we've still got to eat. He's a chef, so he shows us some tricks along the way, but you've got to be able to cope yourself. If you're not living at home, you might be out on a trade or working in the mines, watching MuscleTV from a long way away, thinking, how am I going to cope? Keep it simple.
Yep, and it's always better to do it yourself. So with the egg, a bit of toast, or an alternative, one of your favourites, which is the oats for breakfast, just with water.
To make it even better by putting some of the Max's supersize into the oats. It tastes good, it gives it a nice chocolatey flavour or banana flavour, whatever you're into, and gives you protein. So when you have your eggs and toast, you're getting protein. You have your oatmeal, no protein.
So there you go. So mid-morning?
Protein shake. We love protein shakes. For the young blokes, you can't have a better food going into your body than a protein shake. Supersize has got a balance of carbohydrates and proteins, different blends of protein covering all the spectrums of your amino acids, carbohydrates to help you recover from your workouts and put on weight. So they're very calorie dense. They've got a whole lot of calories in them. And so it's a meal. It's basically a meal and a drink. You know, one of the biggest problems with the young guys, they come up to me at the gym and say, I'm not getting enough results. I'm not seeing anything happen. They just don't eat enough. So supersize is a great way to get those extra calories in. In one serve, there's about 2,000 kilojoules. That's about 500 calories. In one serve, there's 35 grams of protein, 75 grams of clean carbs. The Max's products really are that good. It's the highest quality protein, the highest quality carbohydrates, and it's very calorie dense, so it's going to help you to grow.
And Tony, just mix with water or with milk as well?
I always say to mix it with water. But you know what I love to do? Ice cubes. Put a few ice cubes in it, shake it up. If you've got a blender, and you put in with your ice cubes, it comes up like a thick shake just with water.
So like a smoothie?
It comes up like a smoothie, it's fantastic.
Okay, Tony, moving on to lunch, we've got a couple of great alternatives. One of my favourites, spaghetti bolognese, cooked with a few vegetables in it. You could use kangaroo mince if you like, very, very lean. Or we go to something a little bit bigger, a beautiful grilled steak with some veggies and white rice.
That's fantastic, Pete, and it's much better than having burgers or sandwiches. So many people eat sandwiches and can't get results. You know, Pete, when you're out and about, I always like to call it like the ladder of carbohydrates, as in which ones are good, which ones are bad. The worst one is bread. White bread's the worst of all, and sometimes that's your only alternative. Well, rather than having no carbohydrates, you have to have a sandwich. Fine, have a sandwich, but get as much protein in it as you physically can, like a whole chicken breast in between two slices of bread. But the next worst one, if you like, is pasta. Then you go to potatoes. Potatoes are better than pasta and better than bread. And then the best one of all is rice. Now, we talk about brown rice for the adults, and that's all good because we're looking to be a little bit healthier and we're looking to get a bit more fibre. For the young blokes gaining weight, I've always had the best results with white rice. So your best alternative, white rice, then potato, can be regular potato or sweet potato, any type of potato, then your pasta and your lowly old bread at the bottom. But if you're not home in a position to cook up a great grilled steak or a grilled chicken breast, have your rice cooker there, you're on the road, or your reality is you just can't do this, then look for your best alternative.
Well, we've said it before, Tony, preparation's important. If you're making a bolognese sauce, make a couple of kilos and just keep it cold in the fridge. It'll last for 5 days. Cook it up, break it down into your containers, put it in the fridge. You've got 5 days of snacks or extra meals. So you can cook as much as you want. The same as when you're cooking pasta. Cook the whole packet. Don't cook half a packet. cook the whole packet and eat the rest of it tomorrow. Same with the rice, whatever, just cook extra. Doesn't mean you sit there and eat it all, but make sure you portion it up and take it with you the next day.
We've talked about it many times that preparation is the key to success, and I think you've just nailed it. Now, if you're a young guy and you're a bit worried about people, what they think, don't worry about what they think. So if all your mates are sitting around eating pies and chips and sandwiches, that's fine because they're never going to look like you. If you want to stand out in the crowd and be the one with the great physique and the great body and the ones that they'll aspire to being like later, then try and eat clean because this is where it all starts. So take these lessons on board, get your nutrition right, and forward we go. Now, we've got through lunch and we've come up with a whole lot of good alternatives mid-afternoon.
Protein shakes.
A shake.
Another shake.
That way you fill your stomach up in between your meals, you've got calories going into your system, you're right to go again.
And then we go into dinner. Now, you talked about your ladder of carbohydrates and you mentioned potatoes. We've got a sweet potato mash here. Again, a nice grilled steak and some green fibrous vegetables. An all-round balanced dish. An alternative to that is a simple stir fry. Again, with rice, can be brown rice, white rice, whatever you like. So Tony, something like a chicken stir fry here, 5 ingredients, 15 minutes, and you've got it on the table. Very, very simple to cook. The smaller you cut the pieces, the faster it'll cook. So if you're running out of time, just cut it a bit thinner. And you know, you're going to get a lot better calories out of that than you are out of a family pizza. And also it'll be a lot cheaper.
Not only that, it'll take more than 15 minutes to drive to the pizza shop and get the pizza bloke to cook it. So while you're driving the thing, you can knock up a stir fry. And don't be scared to cook and to try things because there's not much you can do wrong apart from burn stuff and then you learn your lesson. Don't burn it the next day, you know?
Don't cook it so hot.
Yeah, look, I couldn't cook at all when I first started out and I realised if I wanted to be good at bodybuilding, I had to learn how to cook. So you just start with basics, you know? Chicken and rice, you can't
basic
go wrong.
stir fry, basic spaghetti, grills, grilled steaks, mashed potato. They're all pretty simple entry point in cooking.
But even better, you'll start seeing results in the gym. And that's what it's all about. Yeah, we try and make it all fun. We want it to be fun for you, but most of all, we want you to get results in the gym because you're going to all this trouble to lift all these heavy weights, to torture yourself in the gym, to find out about all these programs, to tune into MuscleTV. If you don't eat right, it's just a waste of time. It is the single most important thing, not just for bodybuilding, but for all sport. More and more sports are getting more muscular, and it's because of our nutritional secrets, which we've been happy to share. But it's all about good nutrition.
Well, that's fantastic, Tony. The question I have for you, though, as a young bloke, can you eat too many calories?
Well, it comes down to your body type. I said earlier, if we were 30 years younger each, you'd be a skinny sort of kid, I would have been a tubby sort of kid. So the tubby sort of one, me, would have to eat a little bit less. And yes, you could eat too many calories because you don't want to get fatter. Yes, you want to put on lean muscle. It's all about lean muscle. Someone with your body type, taller and thinner, no offence, but you'd be able to eat anything. You'd be able to eat and eat and eat. And we talked about all this food. Someone like your body type, I'd say have another protein shake right before bed. In between meals, get onto the protein cookies and the Max's protein bars and all these different things to get extra calories because if you've kind of got hollow bones, you're a bit on the skinny side, you can't eat too much. It's incredible how much a young bloke can eat.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it really is. And that's where most people go wrong, is they just don't eat enough. So we've got to just clarify that there is different body types. And if you're a little bit tubby by nature, then limit the amount of food you have and try and eat clean food every meal. But if you've got those kind of hollow bones and you just can't put on weight and you've just naturally got abs and thin skin, eat, eat, eat. Train big, eat big, sleep big, and you'll get big. It's all about big. Look, there's hope for anyone, but when you're young, you've got to remember this is an ideal opportunity to put on muscle. There's no time in your life where you put on muscle more than those first couple of years in the gym. You know, if you're in your late teens, early 20s, that's a prime time for putting on muscle, and it all comes from what goes into your mouth. Thanks for joining us again, Pete, and we'll see you all after the break.